Hey guys, what's up? We are back with some more reactions after dark, and we are of course going to be watching her neighbor screams at himself all day. Turns out he changed his daughter in the bunker, obviously by Stephanie Sue. This is the last video in the Your Scariest Experiences playlist, I think. I don't know if there's any videos after this, but if there is, she didn't bother to put them in the playlist, so I'm just assuming this is the last one. Of course, this is like day 3 of the Stephanie Experience week. Tomorrow we will probably be starting the Your Juiciest Confessions or something. I don't remember what the playlist is called, but it's another playlist similar to this one where she just talks about viewer submitted things. Also, I don't know when this was recorded. I'm assuming Halloween of like 3 years ago, because they're wearing like, I don't know if you want to say goth makeup, but they're wearing makeup, like black makeup in this video, I'm assuming, because it's like that in the thumbnail, so we'll see. Don't have anything to say at the beginning. Like, we don't have any hater stuff. We don't have anything like that. So we can just get straight to the video. Of course, we're going to skip past the meeting as
I
usual.
really want to talk about it. It's just not something we're really into. Like, this was not by choice. I want everyone to know. This was by force.
Force of what?
Force of you. Force of destiny. A force of nature. They have done us dirty. Look at us.
Bro, we look like clowns.
I was like, what is she talking about? The makeup? I was like, I don't think so, but I mean, this is more in my like wheelhouse, is alternate fashion, right? So I think they look fine, but I guess they're just not into that, but oh well. Anyways, let's skip to them getting to the story. Alright, this one's pretty easy, like, to start off with, because it just literally just says story 1 with a big jack-o'-lantern. What is this, 5 minutes in? And there was an ad for Raycon earbuds in there as well, by the way.
Story number 1. In order to tell you about my experiences, I would need to tell you about the legend of the Hawaiian Night Marchers. Have you heard of this? I've heard of the Hawaiian Night Marchers. Night Marchers.
Nope.
Are a group of dead Hawaiian soldiers that march down the mountainside after sunset. It's said that the procession is often accompanied with the sound of a conch shell, you know? Rhythmic drumming and chants. Whenever we go around the island in the more rural areas of Hawaii, my dad would tell me and my siblings and I stories about the night marchers. Back in the ancient days, whenever a chief passed through a village, his warriors blew conch shells and beat drums to signify his arrival. Now, as commoners, you were expected to stare at the ground and not make eye contact, or else you would suffer the consequences, and that was death. The consequences were death. Now, on to the story. I was 14 at the time, and a freshman in high school. We lived pretty close to my high school in a sense that we would only drive up and down a hill just to go to school, and it was a Friday night that night. And I just remember the moon being so bright, so full, I could not fall asleep. But this was pretty normal for me, as I often suffered from insomnia time to time, so it was nothing crazy. Now, usually, I would just take a walk or open my window and stare at the stars, and I decided to take a walk to tire myself out. Keep in mind, my neighborhood is full of old people, and they're usually asleep by like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, so it was pretty safe for me to walk late at night. I walked down the street, onto the main road, which you would take if you were going up or down the mountains. Oh, I forgot to mention that at the top of the mountain is essentially a temple, but this is a historic park and was used as an ancient medical center where Native Hawaiians would visit to be healed. So as I'm walking up the mountain, I hear a soft sound of a drum beating, and I freeze in fear because it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, there shouldn't be anyone awake, and 2, if this is the sound of the warrior's drum, then that means I'm coming face to face with the night marchers. Oh my god, that's the craziest cheese pull you just had.
God
Oh my god,
damn,
it's
what
still
the-
pulling. What the hell is going on? Why do you always get the best cheese pulls?
Yo, for real.
So anyway, something my dad always
Yeah, just like breaking the story to talk about cheese. So nothing too crazy I feel like is happening yet.
told me that if I were to ever cross paths with the night marchers is to run or hide or lie down on the ground and let them pass and never make eye contact. My legs and hands were shaking terribly with adrenaline, so I knew very well that I would not be able to run away. I found shelter by the closest tree next to me. I lied down on my stomach, my head flat on the ground, and not even 10 seconds later, the sound of the drums became louder and louder. And I knew,
crazy.
okay, this is so creepy, and I knew that they were right beside me. I don't like stories like this because I believe in shit like this.
It's like if you actually go to Hawaii and let's say you hear drum start beating at night, what do? Do you take the risk of just like stand there like whatever, or do you actually lay down and try to pretend play dead?
Play dead. You just never know.
And that's the thing about Hawaii, and that's the thing about other places. I feel like the more spiritual people are in an area, the more I believe in the afterlife, like staying around. Like the more I believe in ghosts, because if these people were spiritual when they were alive, I just feel like it's different. That freaks me out a bit.
Yeah.
I didn't move, nor did I make a sound whatsoever. All I could do was pray that they didn't see me and would just continue on their path. It was about maybe a minute until I no longer heard the sound of drums, but me being the little bits that I was, I didn't move for like a good 5 minutes. After I was sure that I knew that they were were gone, I bolted back up to my street to my bed, but because I was so shaken up and I was so scared, I waited until the sunrise in order to fall asleep. Later on, I told my grandma about what happened. She told me what I heard that night was in fact the passing of the night marchers. She said that they were the most active during a full moon and near sacred sites such as that temple. She told me that she also had an encounter with the night watchers when she was younger. She saw the torches descending down the mountain.
Whoa.
And stopped.
Okay, so again, we're assuming this is real, but what if, question mark, this is a full moon, right? What if that the temple, because this is the temple at the top of the mountain, right? What if the temple just does this every full moon, question mark, just gets a bunch of people up with torches and drums and just marches down and tries to play it off like it's like the real thing to spook people, question mark, or just to keep tradition, right? And then they just tell kids that that it's the boogeyman, essentially, right? And it'll get you if you don't do this, or that. Or maybe we can just or like Santa Claus, right? It's they try to make kids believe in it, but really it's something else. Well, I'm not gonna say Santa Claus, but you know what I'm saying, right? It could just be people that just do this regularly because it's just part of the tradition, and then that tradition also goes with telling kids that this is real and you got to be careful or you're gonna die. Question mark. Like, 'cause every culture I think has like some sort of story of where you have to be careful to not get got by said boogeyman of story.
But I will never forget what I experienced that night, nor will I ever forget the sound of a beating drum. Whenever I tell people about my experience, many say how lucky I was to avoid the wrath of the night marchers. Okay, that's so creepy.
That's kind of creepy.
So Night Watcher is actually a real thing.
I feel like it is. I've heard so much about the night watchers.
Really?
Like, I've literally never heard of this story before.
I've heard Hawaii has a lot of more like paranormal stuff going on.
Dang.
Though I guess technically I've never heard any Hawaiian supernatural stuff whatsoever, actually. So yeah, like, I don't know what kind of stuff they got going on over there, because I have heard zero folklore or supernatural stories from Hawaii, question mark. You know, as popular as Hawaii is, question mark, 'cause like how much stuff has happened there. You know, Leo and Stitch, it's like a popular tourist and destination, etc., etc. But I have no knowledge on the supernatural or spiritual or what have you that goes on over there.
There's just so much history there. Natives, I heard, are incredibly spiritual people.
I actually wanted to go to Hawaii.
Me too. I mean, it's so beautiful. I think it's like paradise, but you just gotta respect the traditions and the customs, you know?
Yeah.
I heard that's why, as like a tourist, you shouldn't do like a specific list of things. Like, you shouldn't go at night to certain places because you don't know what you're doing, you know? Okay, second one. Growing up, my parents didn't even care about me and my siblings' dental health. Okay, wow. Okay.
Why?
I don't know. This is like really, this is more sad than it is scary bits. I love you, okay? Oh, okay, here we go. It gets better. It's because we grew up with good, healthy set of teeth. Maybe that's why. I had one very bad teeth when I was young, and it was because my grandparents raised me due to some financial circumstances my parents were facing at the time. They never weaned me off bottle feeding until I was old enough to eat, which led my baby teeth to having cavities. It was nasty. I mean, I looked like a piranha, LOL. But one day, my parents took me back again, but ignoring the fact that I have rotten teeth. As a child, I am not really self-conscious until people started to tease me, and of course, I suffered from toothaches most of the time. My parents at the time began to worry and had my teeth checked by a good dentist, and they said, you know, good thing that they're just baby teeth, they'll start to fall off. So they did. But still, growing up, I didn't really form a habit of taking care of my teeth or have dental checkups. I always had a bad tooth or two that needed a filling or an extraction, and I would experience
Man, I really don't want to hear this story. I hate this.
my face swell up just in time for a class photo. I would look like poop because I can't smile, and if anything, I look like I was in pain in that video, or in that photo. When I was in college, the problem still occurs, and my college life was stressful. Lots of sleepless nights and stress. I mean, it just took a toll on me. One time, I was doing an assignment very, very late at night when I started to yawn. I opened my mouth so big, and I breathed in all this air that my brain needed. Then I heard a click. And when I tried to close my mouth, I couldn't. It was so painful, my jaw locked. I can feel how my jaw was dislocated from its original placement. I tried.
Like, how does that happen? That you dislocate your jaw? I mean, from yawning, sure, but like, if we're blaming the teeth, like, how do the teeth do that? Like, how do they force you to dislocate your jaw from yawning? I feel like they just like yawned the craziest yawn like anyone has ever yawned in their life, and that literally just dislocated it. Like, can't they just like pop it back in? Question mark. Or do they need like surgery for, not surgery, but like a medical assistance for that?
tried to close my jaw, but it was so painful. I tried to massage it, but it felt so weird touching that dislocated part of my face. I panicked, woke my mom up, and she was in deep sleep, and I told her as the best that I could, because, you know, I couldn't really speak right now, right? That I'm having locked jaw. She thought that I was saying that I swallowed a mouse. What?
Wait, what?
Ma'am, what? Tell me. Okay, maybe it's gotta be a different language, because...
Like, why would you think that? Yeah, I'm assuming, like, language similarities, so, like, saying your jaw's locked to eating a mouse, because, like, why would your mom think that you're waking her up to say you ate a mouse? Because they would think that you're someone who would eat a mouse as an adult.
Mouse out of everything?
Yeah.
I don't think she can talk.
I know, but...
Maybe she was like mumbling.
Yeah.
Mouse.
Oh.
Sure.
Yeah, there's no way.
Okay, ready? Okay, close my mouth. I swallowed a mouse.
Okay,
Does
that sounds
okay?
like mouth, yeah.
Oh my gosh, okay. But when she realized my situation, we immediately went to the ER, and the travel alone was painful. Every moment I made, I can feel it in my jaw. Every movement I made, I could feel it in my jaw. My saliva was dripping out of my mouth because I really couldn't even close my lips. At the ER, they asked me to have an x-ray, and while doing that, they asked me a few times to close my lips, like it was possible.
What?
I tried because I have to then, and the horrific x-ray was done. They saw that my lower jaw was obviously dislocated. They injected me a drug to help me with the pain while they were trying to realign my face. One doctor asked me to sit on a small chair on the floor, and he basically righted my jaw with his thumbs, pushing my lower jaw and pulling it to where it should be. You know that's what they do when you break a nose? That's what I heard.
What?
Yeah, I heard when you break a nose, they have to like realign it. So if you like, and it snaps out of place, they have to it back.
Yeah. I've seen people like their joints.
Oh,
scary,
oh,
The worst, no?
oh,
Imagine your arms.
And I think when you
Because this is not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Because I thought it was going to be about, like, teeth and stuff like that. But just the jaw being dislocated, that's not too bad. Of something to, like, listen to. Obviously, it's, like, horrible for them. But I just mean, just for hearing it, it's okay. It could have been
when you're
worse.
trying to realign it, you like wear like a...
Like, it could have been worse to have to, like, listen to the story, is what I mean. To be like, you.
oh,
tape
Oh, like a bandage?
Like a bandage? Like band-aid? I said band-aid, oh my god.
The drug didn't really help. During that moment, I was about to collapse from the pain, and they injected me a second dose. After that, everything seemed blurry and slow, and I just felt heavy. I guess that helped because the doctors fixed my jaw, and I could no longer resist and just cry in pain. When that click happened, it was the most wonderful feeling ever. Imagine having to close your mouth after hours of it being open and salivating over nothing. The relief I felt during that time was still the best feeling ever. They wrapped a bandage around my chin, over my head to keep it from moving again because it was still very swollen, and just in case I needed to yawn again. Now, back to having poor dental health awareness. My current dentist told me that I have TMJD, or, okay, I can't pronounce it, but you guys know what it is. It's like when your jaw locks from its joints. It could have been prevented if I had regular dental checkups, which is very costly here in the Philippines. But now I have braces to help fix it, and I think it's kind of working. But once in a while, if I forget to have my chin supported when I yawn, I can still feel my jaw clicking away from its joints, but not to the point of locking again. It was very traumatic that up until now that I'm in my 30s and I still have nightmares about it.
Damn.
Whew. I can't
Okay, so we did go around full circle to, like, why the teeth mattered. Because if they just got checkups, they would have not have to deal with that. But yeah, again, could have been worse from the viewer's perspective on that one. If it was like some sort of crazy tooth story that, like, went out of hand. But his jaw just got dislocated, right? Just your average jaw dislocation. Everyone gets one of those every few days, right? No, I'm joking, but yeah, that sucks for them. But at least it was just the one time. They were saying like it might happen if they yawn too hard, but I don't know if that just means they've done it again or if that means like they can feel it about to happen and they stop themselves.
even. I had lockjaw one time and it wasn't even that bad. Yes. Okay, maybe it wasn't lockjaw then. But I bit onto something and I remember like I felt like I couldn't open my mouth to let go of that thing that I was biting on. And it was so creepy. It was freaking me out. And I thought that I was going to accidentally, I think it was like a piece of fruit or something. And I was so scared I would accidentally swallow it and start choking and no one could even pry my mouth open. I don't understand the science behind lockjaw. I don't understand the science. Like, how does it lock? Who has the key? Do you know what I mean?
Oh my god. Just imagine.
What are we doing?
That's testing it out.
Me too.
How did you fix it?
After a while, it went away. And I don't know how long it was. It felt like a really long time, but I'm assuming it was very short. That's why I don't think maybe it was lockjaw, maybe it was something else. But
That's
I
why they
felt
say like if you stuff something like a
Like
ball
round? Oh.
into your mouth, you can't take it out. Yeah, as soon as you stick it in, you're stuck because your jaw just locks it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I heard that it happens to dogs too, and it freaks me out.
What?
That's why all of Mango's toys are really big, so she can't really like put the whole thing in her mouth, you know?
Oh.
I didn't know that's why. I just thought that's why she can't swallow it. Damn, you look like you went through something.
You look like you have a weird mustache, bro. Come on. Hi, Steph. I watch and listen to your videos and podcasts religiously, and I love you, Dan Dan, and Mr. Mango Butt so much.
Why didn't they use like a lipstick that wouldn't have come off during eating? I know that stuff exists, so why didn't they just use that? I mean, I guess maybe they wanted to use cheap stuff or just whatever they had, or they did not necessarily cheap, but they didn't have lipstick that doesn't come off easily.
I have been enjoying learning a lot about those experiences, so I figured I would submit one as well. I'm originally Moroccan, a small country on the border of North Africa, but I grew up in the UK. I lived mostly in safe areas in the outskirts of London and had always attended private schools. This meant that I was always super sheltered and not fully aware of certain dangers. Morocco is a beautiful country, but there are some very scary and manipulative people there, just like any place really. When I was 8 years old, I traveled to Morocco with my family to visit my family there. And generally, I stayed in Casablanca. That year, we decided to travel to Marrakesh, the most touristic city in all of Morocco, and spent a few days there. One thing about my grandma is that she always buys me small animals to look after, whether it be a small kitten or a chick or so on. That year, it happened to be baby bunnies. I was over the moon, and I was
Why? Question mark. Is it just to like teach the child to be able to take care of something, or what? Because how long is she actually keeping these animals? Just for the trip, and then she gives them back, or what?
so attached. I took them with me on the car ride to the hotel, and one thing that is very prevalent to this story is that the hotel... Oh my god, no.
Hotel?
I already know where this is gonna go.
What?
One thing about the
Actually, don't know. Which is the hotel doesn't want animals, or like where could it go?
hotel is that it had so many cats.
Ah,
What I mean by that is that most of the hotel was just bungalows and sort of separate housing across these gardens. Generally, there are a lot of street cats in Morocco, but there was a rather substantial amount in this particular hotel. We had a lovely stay in the hotel and all was good and dandy until the last day. Because we were packing to leave and moving stuff in and out of the bungalow, my parents left the door open, and for a period that I was not there, I believe a cat must have snatched up my baby bunny, and it was probably not alive anymore.
No way.
Me looking for my bunny in the midst of the chaos, I started crying. I was so desperate, I was making a slight commotion, to be honest. I was outside the bungalow looking in the bushes and telling my sister about it. Behind the room, a gardener comes out claiming he saw my bunny and has it with him. Oh my god, this is not the story I was thinking it was going to be.
I mean, she said that like there's bad people, right? Of course, this is going to be that scenario where guy claims that he has something that someone is looking for, only to snatch them, right? That's just standard evil behavior, question mark, lying about something like that.
The gardener is suspicious, okay? I'm telling you, who's suspicious, the cat or the gardener?
The human gardener. I mean, I just don't see a cat eating another rabbit.
Yeah, probably you yeah.
Well, yeah, but
They like to chase small animals.
Oh my god, do you know why dogs like squeaky toys? Because it sounds like a squirrel when they
Or like
bite it.
little animal they're killing.
really,
Yeah.
what the?
Yeah, I mean that's obviously why animal toys have like noises in them, because it, I don't know, taps into their predator brain and makes them think like something's dying. It's, you know, it's the wails of what they have caught, their prey, screaming their last breath or whatever. And that's why squeaker toys are squeaky like that. That if somehow someone here didn't know that.
Was the cat like not trained?
Stray cat.
Oh, stray cat.
There was a TikTok I saw of a cat came to the front door and dropped a bird.
No way.
Oh,
The owner was like, please stop giving me these gifts. They're
I mean, I feel like cats do that all the time, right? There's like probably so many videos online of cat grabs corpse of animal, brings it to owner as gift.
not nice.
oh my god, just dead birds?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How did they even catch them?
Bro, cats are crazy.
Cats
They're
can hop and jump and like,
Is it,
sure.
rabbits are faster, no?
No, not the fat ones I've seen.
the fat ones I've seen. I was over the moon and I jumped up and followed him blindly. We were halfway across the grounds when he grabbed my arm and was tugging me along. My sister is now realizing the danger and shouts to my dad, and I got chartered back to the bungalow and I got carted back to the bungalow in shame. Everyone was so worried, but also very mad that I was so careless. Had I followed that old man, I probably wouldn't be here telling the story today. Bits. Okay, this freaks me out because I feel like we've all, I don't know about you guys, but I've had like a moment in my childhood where I think back to it and it's similar to this, and I'm like, if I
She talked about a story like this before, right? Where she was a teenager, I think. Where she could have got snatched. I don't know if I've had that kind of scenario outside of the fact that, of the stories that I've said, where I literally escaped from my house at like 5 years old and went just walking around town by myself. Like I could have got snatched there, but I don't ever remember a moment where, you know, stranger danger came up to me and clearly was trying to snatch me. Like I don't think that ever happens. Like I put myself into situations where I could be snatched but was never snatched. Question mark.
had just followed that one person, or if I had gone and met with that one person, I probably would not be here. That's so terrifying.
Yeah.
Do you feel like in a parallel universe, there's like a different alternate ending?
Oh,
I always
yeah.
think about that when I think about these like random choices that I've made.
I think that's why deja vu happens. I think that's from our parallel universe. You know, it happened, and we get to experience that. I think also dreams are like parallel universe too.
I have some bizarre dreams.
Yeah.
I had a
Sure.
dream, BTS moved in next to us.
Okay,
Yeah, this
okay.
apartment too,
Alright,
like right there. So I was kind of excited, but
Bro.
I tried to be
Kinda
cool.
excited.
I tried to be cool.
Yeah.
So I will start working outside as they go in and out. I saw Jin. He's really nice. He's probably the nicest out of all.
Okay.
And then I saw Jimin once. While he was like glowing. He was like getting a package outside signing something. He was like glowing for some reason. Like,
Oh my God.
shit. Why is he glowing? I even went up to Jin. I was like, hey, if you guys ever need something, need some help or whatever, let me know. I got you.
Okay.
He's like, yeah, cool. And then we like shook hands or whatever. Bro, it was so real. I woke up. I was like, my head was buzzing. I was like, oh my god, that felt so real.
And he was so disappointed that BTS are not our neighbors.
So is that parallel universe then?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
He genuinely woke up and was so
Hey,
excited.
It could happen though, and that.
I mean, was he lucid dreaming? He said it felt so real, so he probably like, was like pretty close to luciding, I'm guessing, right? But weird dream, I guess. Probably not that out of the ordinary, just weird that I'm guessing it's because he likes them a lot, because it seems from that story that he likes them. I'm guessing he's a BTS fan or something. I don't know their music taste. I mean, I'm obviously probably K-pop, but I don't actually know who they really, really like or who their favorite bands are, question mark. I was gonna talk about a dream, right, that I had today, technically. Just because they were talking about like being disappointed, but I can actually be disappointed in the dreams and whatnot, because a lot of times I can realize that, okay, wait, I'm in a dream, this is a dream, this is not worth my time, question mark. Because recently I've been trying to get a Meta Quest 3, we can maybe do some quest stuff on the channel, but I'm waiting for Black Friday sale. Like the Meta Quest 3S has been on sale for like, I don't know, a week or two at this point, but the 3 specifically, which is like a gajillion times better than the 3S, isn't on sale, which if you know what I mean by Meta Quest 3, they're virtual reality headsets. It's still not on sale. It's like really ticking me off that it's still not on sale yet. Seeing as though the 3S has been on sale for several weeks now, and it's almost Black Friday. You know? But I had a dream today where, I don't know, my dad gave me like a 3S. For some reason, I was like, oh, fine, I'll like try it out, because it just was free out of nowhere, might as well use it. But then I kind of realized, wait a minute, this is probably a dream, so I'm not even gonna bother with this. Like I literally like, okay, wait, is this a dream? Yes, this is a dream. So I'm not even gonna like waste my time trying to mess around with this 3S, because I know this is real anyways, and I'm gonna wake up and it's gonna be gone. So I mean, nothing too crazy there. It's just me saying like, yeah, I had a dream today where I was like, okay, I realized it was a dream, and I wasn't even gonna interact with the dream because I knew it was a dream. Which happens sometimes, and usually when you can figure out like you're in a dream, you could instantly go lucid, because like, okay, wait, I'm in a dream, screw everything that's happening, let's start messing around, right? But yeah, just something to talk about, I guess, here, because I don't have any stories to tell, I think, like I did last time, which if you didn't watch episode 5 of the scariest things or scariest experiences, go watch that, because I literally gave 2 stories in the middle of that video, question mark. So again, if you're watching this without watching the previous videos, what are you doing? But yeah, I don't have anything to talk about right now, so we're just interjecting that there. But yeah, again, I'm waiting for that freaking 3 to go on sale. Meta, Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, can you freaking put that 3 on sale already? I mean, I'll probably still buy it afterwards. I just gotta wait for like full Black Friday and Cyber Monday to go away to like be like, okay, it's not going on sale, let me just go get it at full price. You know, because that's just what I gotta wait for. What's annoying is if you don't know anything about like VR, the MetaQuest 3 was like $100 to $200 cheaper like a few years ago. Like its base price was cheaper, and then all of a sudden they increased the price, which is so stupid and annoying. And I think it's just because of the tech. scarcity. So like they had to increase the price. They did that for the Xbox and the PlayStation 2, right? Like the Xbox One X, is that what, is the Xbox X? Is that what the newest one is called? In the PlayStation 5? We're not on PlayStation 6 yet, right? Yeah, they had to increase the prices of those too, which is like, really? We're increasing the prices of things retroactively? Like they come out cheaper and they get more expensive? It's never been done before. Before, like, things get cheaper over time. But no, like, the latest consoles are getting more expensive after coming out cheaper. Same thing with the MetaQuest. It was cheaper, now it's more expensive again. Nobody cares about this, right? I'm just, yeah, just rambling about nothing now, but if you care about any of that stuff, yeah, it's just weird that stuff's actually getting more expensive, but of course, like, we all know, that's just, like, what's been going on recently. And this is, like, for a while now. It's not new news. Like, this has been a thing for, like, a year or two that this has been happening with consoles and stuff. I'm assuming the Switch 2 is going to get more expensive at some point too.
They're nice.
They're chill.
Yeah, they're nice people.
I bet they
You
are.
do have personal experience, right?
Yeah,
So
that's
guys, go tell everyone we have personal experience. We met BTS. They were our neighbors, and they were so nice. And Jimin was glowing. Okay, I'm gonna try to take off my lips.
Why? Why? Does it feel weird or something?
It's so dry.
Yeah, it's like the Sahara Desert.
Like for yeah.
It's crazy. Is that good?
Yeah, I mean, it's a new look. It's like an outline.
It's 2.0. Okay. Hey, Stephanie. I'm a senior high school student, and now here I am writing to you to tell you my most traumatic story that I shared with my older and younger sister because I need to let it out for once. It all started years ago when I was, early in middle school. When my mom announced to me and my sisters that a relative will be moving in to live with us. It was my grandpa's eldest brother who had nowhere to go, so my mom took him in. He was a very old man in his early 80s, maybe, chubby, and he's a specialist in Chinese massages. My mom gave him the room downstairs on the first floor, separated from the rest.
Hold on, excuse me? Massages? Is this already gonna get weird because of
For
that?
once. It all started years ago when I was, early in middle school. When my mom announced to me and my sisters that a relative will be moving in to live with us. It was
Okay, a relative who does massages. Okay, this can only go so badly, right?
my grandpa's eldest brother who had nowhere to go, so my mom took him in. He was a very old man in his early 80s, maybe, chubby, and he's a specialist in Chinese massages. My mom gave him the room downstairs on the first floor, separated from the rest of us who were on the second floor. My sisters and I never knew him, so we were very shy around him, but he's very friendly, and my mom kept pushing us to be friendly because, it's my grandpa's brother, it's family. He would give us snacks and give us massages as a way to get closer to us. Am I traumatized or is this not going well?
It's not going well.
So we would slowly get along with him. We would come upstairs to his room to hang out and watch the TV in his room, help him with the garden he made on the third floor of our house, and he would sometimes even see us off for school or even pick us up. It was like that.
How rich are you? People. First floor, second floor, third floor, hello? Where do you live? You in a mansion? 3-story mansion? Like, what the heck?
For the first few months. But slowly, he started asking for kisses as a way for us to show love. It was nothing new. I mean, I kissed my parents and sister all the time, and it was actually a pretty normal thing in my Chinese family, but it was confusing for me when he started asking me, especially for kisses on his lips. And I was young, clueless, and naive, so I did as he said, since I remembered I pecked my parents on their lips when I was a toddler.
Yeah, again, like I've had this discussion before about how weird it is to kiss your parents on the mouth. Because I was with someone back when I was a teenager who would kiss her mom on the mouth. And I just thought that was like kind of weird. But I think if people just do that, I don't know. I'm on the boat that kissing your parents on the mouth is weird. If you do that, I can't say anything about it. Sure, y'all do you, right? But I think it's just weird. So this is even worse, right? Because it's not even just your parents, which you can make an argument they're your parents, but this is not your parents. This is your grandfather's brother, right? So I don't think it's like the granddad. That was what they said, right? The grand relative of the grandfather, specifically the brother? Question mark. So it's not even like your grandfather, but even then, that's worse. Because like in this situation, I can make a exception for your parents, but now we're not even talking about your parents. We're talking about someone even further down the line.
Early middle school is like really old to be.
That's super old.
And I meant like super old as in, for him to be asking for kisses. I mean, I think it's weird for anyone other than parents to be asking for kisses, but so bizarre. Actually, I did ask Sophie for kisses, okay? But it's like, I go popo, and I go
On the
here.
cheek?
Yeah, but you know what Sophie does? Sophie doesn't like to kiss people. She likes to be kissed. So when you go Sophie popo and you give her your cheek,
She gives you her cheek.
she gives you her cheek. She gives you her face.
Maybe she want to do this cheek to cheek.
Oh,
kiss.
the French kiss. Yeah, maybe she's cultured like that.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Also, wait, I'm so sorry. Before we get into the serious part, Sophie slapped my sister across the face. If that's not a horror story, I don't know what is. She decked my sister across the face. If you guys have a 2-year-old, can you let us know what to do when your 2-year-old starts slapping you across the face? My sister had the TV on, right? She turned off the TV. Sophie brings her the remote, as in, bitch, turn the TV back on. And my sister looked at her and very nicely said, Sophie, like, TV ande, TV kunade, like, we can't watch TV, we gotta turn it off. And Sophie looked at her, digested this information, and slapped her across the face. My sister said, she stood there in shock. She said, I can't believe I've gotten to this. Like, if this was freaking 10 years ago at a club, I would have gotten into a fight with that girl. But nope, it's a child. It's a 2-year-old. It's her child.
What is this called? I forget what it's called. This is called a terrible something. With they just become psychos. Though it could be just brain rot culture too. I'm assuming they're not brain rotting their child, right? But you know, like the Coco Melon stuff, where kids are just, well, if you don't know what this is, we might go on a rant about this, where if you're just using TV, tablets, etc. as babysitters, it's actually brain rotting these kids. So I don't know if this is Gen Alpha or the generation after that. It might still be Gen Alpha. Like the youngest of Gen Alpha is being brain rotted to like literally a detriment to their intelligence. Like they're actually, just because they're just sitting around watching these brain rot shows on YouTube or on TV, and they're actually not being able to speak or whatnot at the age that they should be able to be doing these things at. I don't know if it's like affecting their motor skills, but speech definitely, right? And it's like causing like weird dopamine hits to their brains or something. I don't know. I've seen like videos where just kids won't react to anything, but you turn Coco Melon on or something like that, some sort of brain rot stuff. I don't know if Coco Melon really is brain rot, but I've seen people complain about it. I don't even know what Coco Melon is. I'm just using the word Coco Melon for an example. You turn Coco Melon on, and the kids like in 20 rooms over, you turn that stuff on, they come sprinting out of the room out of nowhere to come watch this stuff. It's almost like a drug to them. Like that's what these like tablet shows and YouTube brain rot and stuff like that is doing to the kids, that they've become addicted. It literally is a drug for children. So you gotta be careful with that stuff. I'm assuming that's not the case here. She's just, the 2-year-old's just in her terrible twos? Let's just call it the terrible twos, because I don't know what this, I know there's a term for it. So, I mean, she'll get out of that if you just teach them, right, to not act like that. But you just gotta deal with them being little monsters for a while, right? And just hope that this isn't a Coco Melon brain rot scenario.
So
Yeah.
what can you do?
What
like,
can you do?
to discipline?
Everyone's like, beat her up, give her a taste of her medicine. Within a few days, it all turned strange and scary when he started pushing his tongue into my mouth. Like a full-on
Oh
makeout.
my god, bro.
I remember being paralyzed and
Yeah, I think we all knew where this is going.
I grew scared, but I just felt so hopeless. I let him continue until we heard someone coming, and that's when he finally let me go. It was my dad going down the stairs to open the store, and I came out of my grandpa's room quiet. I was so scared that I acted like nothing happened. I just said hi to my dad and ran upstairs into the room that I shared with my sister to lay down on the bed and process everything. Just that afternoon of that day, I had to go downstairs to my grandpa's room to give him a snack. My mom told me to give him a snack. So he let me in and he shut the door. I was alone with him in his dark room, and that was when he told me to lay down on his bed, and he crawled on top of me. Then he started kissing me on the lips and shoving his tongue in my mouth like crazy. Once again, I was paralyzed and scared. I stayed still and unable to think, but my fear doubled when he slid his hand into my pants and started pressing his finger into my private area, and I started rebelling and pushing him weakly because I was in pain, and it hurt so much that my paralyzedness turned into panic. He eventually let me go when I lied that my sister called for me. I managed to convince him that he just didn't hear it, and I rushed out of there. I went straight to our bathroom, shut the door, and I started examining my private area because it hurt so much. But since it was only red, I decided I was fine, and I just tried to forget everything that happened. That night, my older sister went to me for a talk. And that's when I found out that my grandpa has also been molesting my older sister. Also, the same night when my sisters and I were alone in our room, I was woken up, and I saw my grandpa was in our room touching my older sister. I jumped up and I asked him what he was doing, and it was then that he said goodnight and scurried away. I went to comfort my older sister before we went back to bed again. Luckily, he didn't come back that night. But ever since, my older sister and I would have meetings each night to talk about if anything happened to us that day, since we were so scared to tell our parents about it. My younger sister joined us. Despite her being so young, we found out that my grandpa showed her his wee-wee.
Oh my gosh.
It scared the f out of us, but we made a promise to each other to protect each other that night. Whenever one of us sisters was sent to go downstairs, we would find either two sisters to come along, basically not let each other go alone because we can get away if we're not alone. But when one of us couldn't find a sister, we would call out so they would have an excuse to leave grandpa. Even though grandpa made excuses to give us massages and treats, my sisters and I knew by now that it was just his excuses to grope us. The room door my sisters and I share was very old and broken, so there was no lock, and it would scare us to go to sleep in fear grandpa would come in the middle of the night or even peek into the room to stare at us. But soon, my older sister managed to convince my dad to change the lock, so we got a lock. So we would lock the door from inside each night before going to sleep. But I just remember how scary it was when I watched the door handle move that night. My grandpa would try to open the door and find out when it was locked. Once I came home with my dad after shopping and was going to the kitchen to drop it off. That's when we pushed the door open to see grandpa rising up while my sister was on the floor, crying and shaking. We came in late and my grandpa managed to convince my dad that my sister just fell while I was helping my sister up again, not saying the truth of what was going on. Luckily, my younger sister listens to me and my older sister to never go downstairs to our grandpa's room or even follow him anywhere alone. My younger sister was so young and we were really worried for her. A few months of living in fear and paranoia, my sisters and I finally got the courage to tell our mom after dinner one day. It was only the four of us. When we
I was going to wonder, like, how long is it going to take for them to finally tell them? Though, again, viewer discretion is advised. He was a little bit late for that. I didn't know if I was going to have to say anything like that, but yeah, this one was pretty rough, obviously, but pretty sure anyone who's left, has already left if they didn't want to have to listen to that. Yeah, this one's pretty bad.
We told her everything about it. My mom was in disbelief. She felt utterly betrayed, and she cried when my older sister and I cried, and it was a mess. My mom told us to continue protecting each other and locking our room every night while she went to tell my dad about it. The next morning, my mom went to talk to us in our room, just the four of us, and told us what happened last night after sending us to bed. Our mom told us that the garden on the third floor was trashed and destroyed by my dad's rage. It turned out last night my dad let his anger out by trashing grandpa's garden on the third floor. I still remember it to this day. It was a horrible mess, and I realized how scary my dad could be, especially after seeing the garden scissors left stabbed on a plank of food on the trashed garden. A plank of wood. You see, my mom had to tell my dad to stay calm before she told him about everything because she knew my dad would storm down and murder the grandpa, but my mom managed to convince him to stay calm. My dad is typically very kind.
I was wondering, like, what's going to happen there. Because I think I would be, I don't know, worried's not a right word, but I think you should use the word worried that he would go down there and just, like, kill him immediately. Because you'd be like, oh yeah, he should go kill him. The problem with that is, like, no, because if he does that, he's going to go to jail. Now you don't have a dad. Even if he did that, because now you've had that happen, right? And now you've lost your dad, too, on top of it. But I don't know. It's just, it depends on, like, who... I think you just need to tell the police, right? Though, of course, you have to, like, convince them that this has been happening, but I don't know. I think it is better that he didn't go down there and kill him because, then again, he's going to go to jail, and then, like I said, you've lost your father on top of all the bad things that have happened to you.
And quiet, but it scared me when my mom told us that my dad could thoughtlessly go and murder our grandpa and bury him in the woods. Scarier because my dad bikes as a hobby, knowing the most isolated places in the woods. My mom did some research between...
I mean, maybe if you can get away with it, I don't know.
...our other relatives, and it turns out that disgusting grandpa had molested another relative in the past. And they didn't tell my parents about it. My grandpa was kicked out soon after. He was sent away and was told never to show himself again. In exchange, my parents won't call the cops on him. Even my mom's parents, my grandparents who live in a city away, were fuming and beyond mad, but that disgusting grandpa still has the nerve to ask to live with my mom's parents and say that my sisters and I were the ones seducing him. Obviously, my grandpa was scared away by my mom's dad, and he was gone to somewhere, I don't know. I never saw him again. Or so I thought, motherfucker. That disgusting old man came back 2 years later to retrieve all the stuff he abandoned at our house with a truck to bring them. My sister and I weren't aware at that moment, and we had no idea why our mom told us to stay upstairs. My younger sister and I peeked down from the second floor and saw that disgusting old man, and it was then that we understood and hid in our rooms. My mom was shouting and slapped that old man saying, "How dare you show your face again?" And my mom stepped forward because she was keeping my dad back because he could have totally killed him in that moment. That old man left not long after, and my mom came back upstairs telling us that he was gone. We were all creeped out, and my dad was in a bad mood for days after that. Luckily, it was for real this time. We never saw him again to this day. I only heard of him. He's sick and dying slowly, my mom said. That was recent, and when I was already away from home for high school at another city, I got so scared when my mom called me at night stressed out. Okay, she told me that the old man's picture of him passed out in the middle of the street was shared to my family, consisting of the older relatives group chat, and it was thrown everywhere who would pick him up and take care of him. And the relatives were swaying for my parents to pick him up because we took him in once. By now, everyone knows he's a disgusting predator. Hearing that, I got so scared and I remembered crying in fear, and I was so worried for my sisters who were still living with my parents. I'm away from them and safer, and I couldn't worry less about myself. I was just so scared for my sisters. My parents were so strong to refuse to take that man, defended by my mom's parents too. In the end, that old man was picked up and dropped off at a hospital by another relative. Actually, my dad doesn't mind to go pick up that disgusting old man, but my dad will go and return home without him. He'd probably kill him and bury him in the woods. Bury him alive, maybe.
Yeah, again, I think you need to make sure that the dad doesn't get anywhere near him because he will kill him, right? He's just like waiting for the chance to do that.
Then nobody will come find that man because he has no family and nobody cares about him. Literally nobody in the family will be in search of that disgusting man and won't care if nothing is ever heard from him again. My dad is honestly kind of scary, but I remind myself that's how much he loves us and is protective of us and our family. My family is safe and I want it to stay that way forever, but
Yeah, you should maybe like appreciate that he has that rage in him for your sake, but also be happy that he didn't like unleash it and wind up in jail for possibly the rest of his life. Who knows? Maybe he would be allowed to get away with that. I don't know. We don't know what the situation would have turned out because it didn't turn out that way. But yeah, I'm just saying it's a good thing that he didn't do it because again, he would be taken away.
I heard that that old man is out of the hospital and wondering where, and I don't know, and I don't care. I just don't need to see him or run into him ever again. But if I do, I doubt I won't be scared, but I definitely would be angry. I will not think twice to scream and kick him. Ever since
Like, how is he still alive? Like, he's like mid 80s at least now, right? Because I don't know when this story took place. Because he could even be like in his 90s now, and he's just out wandering the streets, still alive. Like, Jesus. Like, you can argue if we're flipping the supernatural switch on, like, how is higher entities allowing him to stay alive this long from after what he's done to people, right? But that's just how it goes, unfortunately.
that traumatic experience, I became very wary and very distant of boys. Physical touch by boys other than my close relatives give me chills and anxiety, and I have a phobia of older men ever since. Now, I know there's no need to be scared to tell my parents about anything. I have the best parents ever, and I know that they would do anything in their power to help and protect their daughters if we simply just tell them what we're going through. That is amazing, honestly. I think, like, to have that's like real parenting. Like when your children feel safe enough to tell you anything. Thank you for reading this, Stephanie, Steph and maybe Dan too. It made me a lot better writing this, and I hope everyone can learn from my experience. Stay safe, girls, and let's protect each other. Stay healthy, and let's all forget about that terrible past to live on happily. Much love to you, Stephanie, and your storytelling and Steph laugh always made my day. If I was with you on the street and we ran into your grandpa's older brother, I would help you kick him. We're going to jail that night, Bates. We're gonna be cuddling in jail, in prison, okay? Okay, sorry, next story. I can't believe I forgot about this, but my aunt just reminded me, and I wish I could remember the victims' names, but it shouldn't be hard to find. It happened in Janesville, Wisconsin, around 1996. Whoa.
What? Why is that? Why does that matter?
The victims' names, okay. A few years before 1996, my aunt had a neighbor that would really freak us all out. He would scream at the top of his lungs all hours of the day and night. He'd say really scary things like threatening to sexually assault the woman with him. He'd say things like, I will R-word your eye sockets after I rip out your eyeballs with my bare hands. And then you would hear the woman apologize and beg him not to hurt her again. Of course, we would call the cops. They would come, talk to him, search his house, and told us that he was there alone. Multiple times. They informed us.
Okay, this is the main title story. Something we're referring to him as him talking to himself, but it's because the cops aren't doing their job in searching his entire house thoroughly.
Said he had a mental illness including multiple personalities and that he would talk in different voices. He even spoke with them using a few different voices. The story always stuck with us kids, and we'd often talk about the guy who would yell at himself. It was like a campfire scary story that we tell our friends.
What?
Then in 1996, we got the shock of our lives. Turns out he has a daughter that nobody knew about. She was 12 and she was just found in a secret room in his house with her mother, who nobody had seen in many years and was considered a missing person.
Wait, with the mom. Because I think that's what you just said, right? The daughter and mother were chained in the basement. So potentially his wife and his daughter are chained in the basement.
His daughter was never brought outside in her entire life, and at only 12 years old, she weighed what a 4-year-old would weigh. She couldn't walk, couldn't talk besides grunting, and nobody even knew that she ever existed. Turns out, he didn't have multiple personalities, and he wasn't yelling at himself. He was yelling at them the entire freaking time. When my aunt had been his neighbor, his daughter would have been about 4 years old. I will never forget the sound of his yelling, and the feeling of confusion as a kid being told that it was just one person. I wish we could have saved her sooner. She spent 8 more years in that hell because people believed his fake mental illness. It blows my mind to this day.
That is so scary.
His own daughter.
Listen, like, what? I don't even know how, like, what?
Okay, well, is he in jail now? Question mark. For, I don't know what that would be called, but keeping someone held captive against their will? Question mark. Something like that? I don't know. Just keeping someone captive, I guess. Against their will doesn't matter. I mean, it kind of matters because, some people are into that, right? But we're not going there. We're just talking about, like, him committing a crime here. The daughter, though, she was 12, right? And could not speak. I wonder if she could understand language, though. At least, like, maybe that would help her actually be able to start learning better and become normal again, right? You can only hope that she isn't stunted for life from this childhood.
I wonder, okay, please let me know. Do you feel extra vigilant in face of neighbors now? Like, do you grow up and now you're extra, like, cautious and almost, like, nosy, I wonder? I feel like I would head into nosy territory.
No, unless she's talking to the person. We must be talking directly to the person who did this story, because I don't really care about what the neighbor's doing.
Because maybe I feel like I lost my chance to help someone then, so maybe I keep exerting that nosiness later on in life. I wonder too how that affects like the neighbors as well. I mean, obviously, the neighbors' trauma is
neighbor,
something
probably
compared to the children.
the
But
whole world.
I always think about that in a plane. I hate that feeling. That's why I hate opening the window when you're just high enough that you see the grid of houses. You know, and it's all a grid because that's how most like suburban areas are planned. So all these
Like she talked about this before, where there must be something crazy going on underneath because you're looking at so many houses. The probability of like something psychotic happening is high? Question mark.
houses are right next to each other and they almost look identical from the rooftops, and it's just like this feeling of right now I am over these houses and it's a numbers game, really. Like in how many of these houses is someone being R-worded, abused, held hostage, maybe tied up in a basement somewhere? Because it's a numbers game. Like it's statistically there's got to be a specific number of houses that I am currently literally on top of that have victims in the house. And it freaks me out. Like, it literally makes me have one of those moments where you feel like life is not real and it's just making you so stressed out and you feel so detached. I hate it. Oh my gosh. So I've always had a big love for reptiles and amphibians. I'm not sure why, I just love things that tend to be underloved, I guess. This is reminding me of the goat story. About a year ago, I had 4 geckos, 2 bigger lizards, 1 snake, and 7 frogs. Anyways.
Geico.
Are you guys being serious?
I'm being serious.
What do you mean?
5 minutes?
4 Geico.
Well, it's geckos.
Not geckos, Geicos.
It's geckos, yeah.
They save you 15 minutes.
Or more. So she had 4 fucking geckos. Like, how many
That's
cars do you
60%.
have?
Dang.
That's 60%?
Yeah, saving 60%.
Bro.
That's insane. You never heard of like State Farm or something?
Nah, Geico.
She had 4 Geicos, 2 State Farms, 1 Allstate, and 7 Mercuries. Wow. Okay. Anyways, I
So what
had
does he have?
4 geckos, 2 lizards, 1 snake, and 7 frogs. Get it together. It's not that hard. I just had a really weird thought. I feel like my dog would eat your frogs.
Dog would eat frogs?
I feel like, because, you know...
The snake would
I don't know.
eat frogs.
Yeah,
for sure.
that's true.
Yeah.
They would all eat each other. How does that feel to know that your pets would eat each other? Because maybe it's how I feel, because I know for a fact Mango would eat Tiger.
Oh,
if
for
we
sure.
give her the chance,
Isn't Tiger stronger though?
not mentally. Not mentally. I had a friend over who was also very passionate about reptiles, but her love was kind of weird. She always made jokes about how she loved her pets so much that she would make out with them. I thought she was kidding, of course, and I shrugged it off.
I could make a joke there, because I think everyone's forgotten about the whole dog fiasco that was happening a few years ago, maybe a lot of years ago. I don't know. I would love to make the joke, but yeah, I don't know how politically correct question mark my audience is, so I just keep everything not really that crazy, but I could make such a crazy joke about who this, I'm assuming it's a woman, who this woman is, but I'm not going to. But it immediately paints a picture if you talk about like making out with your animals.
Off. One day when she came over, my mom called me to the kitchen to help her clean after dinner. I was in there for about 5 minutes, and during that time, she took 2 of my geckos out, my snake, and all of my frogs, and let them all, quote, play together. This
Okay.
was really weird to me because she seemed like she knew more about animals to know that my snake was ready to eat all 9 of the other animals.
Fuck, that's what I'm saying.
I put all the animals back, and the next time she came over, I decided to put one of those hidden camera pens in my room just to see what was going on. Like, I already had one, so it's not like it costed any money or anything, okay? I left the room again, and I opened the app to watch her, and it didn't take her long before she opened my snake's cage, took out the tongs used for feeding, and grabbed one of my geckos and dangled it by its tail in front of my snake. I would have interrupted.
Can gecko regen tail? Question mark. I don't know if the snake can bite the tail off though. Yeah. Are geckos one of the lizards that can regenerate their tail? If so, you can only hope that if something happens, that's what happens, right?
Interrupted by now if I had
It's just
known
a
that
tail.
the snake was going to eat it because it just ate a big rat. It's the circle of life, you know. I like snakes. I think that they're so mystical. Like
Right.
they're such a vibe, but I can't be around them because I feel
little bitch, okay.
like it'll choke me to death. And I see this is the reason that I can't be around animals, and it's not just snakes because animals can smell fear, and I'm a very fearful I'm a freak in the sheets, okay? And they can smell it.
Do you remember?
What?
When our grandpa used to,
Oh yeah,
Kill it with a
he,
stick?
he killed a snake with a stick.
you found one in the backyard, and
Yeah.
she was so scared, and then we were all scared.
You were there
actually.
too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Stephanie
then,
told me the story, and then she cried like crazy after.
yeah, and then grandpa
Yeah.
was like, "Hey, let me show you how it's done."
And that was the moment that, like, my view of my grandpa shattered. I was like, how could he fucking murder an animal, you know? Officer, that one. Yeah, that 90-year-old man with white hair, gotta lock him up. He's a danger. Danger to society. Anyway, but when she realized my snake wasn't hungry, she put the gecko back, tapped my snake as some sort of punishment, I guess, and she started removing her
Removing her pants? Okay, what did
Guess
she do?
the next.
No.
She's gonna pee on the snake.
She
What?
took my
What?
snake and tried to shove it up her, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I unfortunately thought that's what might happen. I've thought that might happen like 10 minutes ago. I mean, not really 10 minutes ago, but when she said she's going to put a camera in the room and see what she was doing, I was just going to assume she's going to try to have relations with the animals. It just seemed like that was where this was going to go, especially with the joke that I would have made barring, you know, offending anybody with that crude joke that I could have made.
What?
And then I came in and I cussed her out. I was so fucking horrified. I know that people are weirded out by me keeping reptiles, but there's no way in hell that that wasn't creepy. I kicked her out and I called the cops, who did nothing because they don't take interest in my reptiles. And to think that this couldn't get any worse, 2 months later, I saw her walking around in circles really slowly around my mailbox, almost as if she was really stoned and she couldn't navigate herself properly. I called the police again and explained that, is this like stalking or harassment or something? And they did nothing. This was 3 months ago and I haven't seen her since, but this was just a really weird situation. Bro.
What is going on?
I knew someone. The fact that this is not even the only one that I knew, and this is not okay. The other person, that's a whole other story. But this one was really weird, and I feel like she was trolling us because definitely something was wrong with her. There was a girl in my Bible study class. I know I went to church. Weird, right?
Bible study.
My Bible study class, and this was when I had transferred to like this big church at one point, and she just always had a weird vibe. Like she always seemed out of it and drugged up. But I know that she wasn't on drugs, so maybe it was like a mental health thing. I'm not really sure, but she was always definitely like something about her was off. She didn't talk much, and when she did, it didn't feel like there was like she wasn't really communicating with you. Like if someone was really drunk and you're trying to communicate with them, I feel like they're not really soaking in the information. That's kind of how she felt. Well, one day we're sitting there, and this is like during the summer, and during the summer you do some crazy shit at church. It's like weird. It should be illegal, honestly. You had to like sit there in a circle and like confess shit. But like we're not even Catholic. We were Presbyterian or something. No, we were Methodist. No, that church was Presbyterian. Who cares? Anyway, we're sitting in a circle confessing, and we all have to like pray for each other's confessions. So like I would say like, oh, I feel really bad because I did A, B, C, and D, and everyone would be like, okay, we'll pray for you, Stephanie. Well, this girl literally out of nowhere just goes, I had sex with my dog.
I could still make the joke if you know what I'm talking about, because that is like the that's where the joke originates from, like that kind of behavior. So you might already know what I'm talking about.
Oh my
like
God, I think
like Jesus.
you told me about
Yes,
this.
and it was like the most and that's not the only girl. I had a friend who knew someone who literally had sex with their dog, and they had like proof and stuff, and that's like a whole different story.
Oh
But
my
this one was
God.
in youth group, and she was saying this in like a group of like, I think like 7 girls, and there was no laughter after. We were expecting it to be like some sort of sick joke. Maybe she just doesn't have the same humor as us, but she didn't really do laugh. And wow, honestly, the Bible study teacher was crazy.
What do you?
I feel like that is like a crazy thing to say, because we're not just being like, okay, we're just confessing stuff that we've done that's bad. No, this is something that was confessed during Bible study. So this is like 2,000-3,000 layers of like bad, right? Because not only is it bestiality, but it's also, you know, relations, if you can even call it, before you're married. On top of that, right? So it's multi-layered of what you would consider to be bad in this kind of religious setting. Question mark.
What do you mean?
Because she's just like, we'll pray for you. I'm like,
I don't think
we gotta get the dog.
Nah, there's
We gotta go get the
than that.
dog. Like, we gotta save a dog.
Yeah.
But she's just like, we'll pray for you. And then I told my mom about it, and she was like, don't get involved. Remember what happens when you get involved? Because I stole a dog in Korea, you know? Okay, that's another story
Wait, what?
for another
Oh, she
day.
rescued a dog.
Okay.
That belonged to someone.
Okay.
Anyway, the next one I have to reenact it for you, okay?
What the heck? I wasn't expecting her to get up. So, if anyone is losing their mind about like what I was gonna say about that story, it's we'll go in depth about what I'm talking about. We're not gonna like necessarily say it's like a joke or anything. I don't know how where it originated from. Maybe it was just from that one woman. I'm not sure, but several years ago, there was a woman who was going around talking about how she has relations with her dog on the regular, and then there was like more people, or more women specifically, like, because this is weirdly a woman thing, that were saying they were doing this as well, or like they would want to, or like just thirsting after their dogs in general. Like, it was a big phenomena, so much so that there was a lot of jokes going around about like, yeah, like these big dogs where you got to keep them away from the specific quote unquote white women, that was the joke. There's no offense to any white women out there, but that's for some reason that was like the main demo for these women who were talking about like having relations with their animals, with their dogs. They were all white for some reason. So you have to like protect these dogs from the quote unquote white women. And that's basically what I was going to say. Like, oh, this must be the person with like the snake or whatever must be a white woman, and the girl and the dog, same thing, must be white. Like, that's what the joke was going to be. Though like, obviously this is messed up, but like I don't know why out of nowhere on the internet, like some people or like probably nobody knows what I'm talking about. There's just a surge of women talking about having relations with their dogs. Like I'm not joking. Like this was a big thing a few years ago. And I think it's died down to the point where probably nobody even like understands like the reference to that, right? Of like dogs and women. It was just a weird time, question mark. Again, like I was saying, there's literally a woman who was a content creator, influencer, whatever you want to say, who's constantly talking about doing this stuff with her animal, with her dog. And like proudly and literally out in the open on the internet saying, like, this is what she does with a dog. I don't know if she recorded stuff like this, because that's obviously I wouldn't know. But if she did, then who knows? Like she might have even had like one of the websites where you can post explicit content. And I don't know if she had that kind of content there, because again, that's against the law. So I don't think she did. I don't know. I don't know if she's in trouble, if she went to jail or what. But yeah, I feel like that's the catalyst for that kind of point in history of the internet, of all these. I'm telling you, all these women who came out of the woodworks talking about having relations with their big dogs. Again, no offense to any women or white women in the audience, which again, like 80% of the audience is women. I'm just saying this is something that happened on the internet a few years ago. Question mark. It's just like an anecdote that I can talk about because I remember it. I was there when it was happening. And I think everyone's forgotten that part or didn't even know it was happening when it was happening. It was just so weird. But yep, that's something that happened. Believe it or not, that's something that happened on the internet. It may even still be happening. Like you could probably look up on Twitter or something and maybe even still see people, well, like women talking about their dogs in a weird way. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of that when talk about making out with the animals. I was like, you gotta be careful when you see people kissing their dogs weird, because like, are they one of those girls or dog girls? I guess we'll call them. Is this a dog girl or what? I know this video is gonna be like just horrible. Nobody's gonna watch this video. Everyone's already left. 1,000 dislikes, 1,000 hate comments. Well, if we get a hate comment, we can at least have a hater scene next time. Something else I wanted to say about the dog girls. I gotta remember. I just can't remember what it was gonna be. Like I had thought about it while I was talking, but I didn't get around to saying it. Now I've forgotten what it was. I did like cut there and like try to think about it for a couple minutes, but I just cannot think about what it was. And it was something to do with like social media, but I can't remember, and it's probably gone. So we'll just forget about it. But yeah, again, just hear me out. That was just something that happened on the internet. I'm not like bashing anybody or anything like that, like a demographic or anything. I'm just saying like that's just something that happened, and I'm explaining it to you about something that happened in the history of the internet that's relative to this story. Again, if there's gonna be any hate or whatnot, so be it, or get canceled for talking about that stuff or whatnot. Again, that just adds to let me have like a hater section in the next video, right? So, oh well. I'm gonna try to remember what I wanted to say though as we continue playing.
Gotta belong to someone.
Okay.
Anyway, the next one I have to reenact it for you, okay? I got possessed.
What the heck?
What are you doing?
Sorry, it says I got possessed.
What? Twerks intensively. What? Like I was worried that was gonna be something she was gonna do, but like, what? Hello?
Works intensively.
Why would you twerk
Yeah, like what? Huh?
that though?
Well,
Not you,
no, but they got possessed. You know, they got possessed. You know what I mean?
I don't know what you mean.
Okay, never mind. That's not the I thought she was gonna be like, I was possessed and I was doing some crazy shit. But so I guess you can say this experience was more traumatizing for the people around me than myself, since they were the ones that remembered most of it.
I'm guessing that's some sort of slang for relations. Like, get possessed in bed. Question mark. That's why she did that. I've never heard that used that way, but I'm assuming that's what she meant by that, which is why she was twerking. Question mark.
But which leads me to realize, possessed or not, I traumatize people all the time.
Great.
Less than 10 years ago, I visited Korea with my family. I was around 6 or 7 back then. Honestly, one of the best holidays of my life so far. The food, the opportunity to bully other families' annoying boys on the tour bus. Hell yeah. Oh yeah, I like it. I like a boy bully, okay? Sorry, I'm kidding. Protect the boys. They need protecting. My family consisted of my dad, my mom, and my older sister. We had stopped by at a hotel for the night in one of their larger rooms with king-size mattresses. We fell asleep for the night, but then I awoke, and I saw. I was on the floor in a different room, in a different bed. Our room had changed from a modern-styled one with large mattresses to one with traditional on-the-floor beds. It was morning, and my mom and dad were already up. I asked them how it happened, and they told me about the giant cockroaches in the other room and how we had to change rooms. Now, at the time, my mother was
Yeah, and I guess if you're like young enough, they probably just picked you up and took you to the other room without waking you up somehow.
terrified of cockroaches, so I bought the story. But now I know the truth. It was 6 years after that night when my parents finally told me the truth. Maybe when they realized I was old enough or that we were far enough from that incident that I wouldn't be so petrified from it. But I honestly feel like no matter how late they told me, I would still be terrified. And here's the truth. That night 10 years ago, my parents had slept through just fine when they awoke to a noise, a flushing sound, which was quite normal until my father realized it came from our own toilet. He called out to see if any of us were using the restroom, but there was no reply. And there were all the 4 of us lying in the bed. This unnerved him, but perhaps it was simply an automatic system every once in a while to keep the toilet clean. My dad, they had prepared to go back to sleep when the light switched on.
Or it's broken, because if a toilet is having issues or broken, it will make that like hissing sound every so often when like one of the parts is broken or whatnot. So is this really just going to be a situation where the toilet was broken in a place that it probably will easily break because it's a place where a lot of traffic comes in, like a lot of people come and go, different kinds of people, different who have different, I don't know how to even put that, different ways of handling the toilet. Some might be more rough than others, and thus might cause the toilet to break faster, or just break in general? Question mark. Is this all this is going to end up being?
My mom forced my dad to off them. Then the toilet's lights turned on again, and the main light. And my father turned them both off, but at this point my mom was making him chant the Lord's Prayer over and over again. They said it was silent for a moment, then everything broke loose. The lights in the bathroom, our main room, and the hallway outside flickered on and off continuously. The bathroom toilet flushed multiple times and the television turned on, but nothing was playing. It was only static and a strange sound, and it was almost like a cackle. But honestly, at this point, I respect them so much for not their pants. Bro, nothing's like impressing your kids by telling them this. The television was screaming, some distorted voice. My dad switched off the television, but the lights were not turning off. He dialed the hotel phone to call the counter at 4 a.m. in the morning, which was awkward, but at this point, social anxiety who? He asked them to turn the main switch off for the lights in our unit. The call ended and my parents waited for the lights to turn off when the phone rang again. They picked up and the staff informed them as the lights continued to flicker on and off that the main switch had never been on. At this point, the commotion was dying down and they had planned to just continue their night, like every dumb character in a horror film, when it finally went silent, which should have been alarming, but they paid no attention to it and the silence was all they had hoped for. Then a body sat up in the bed. It was 6-year-old me. I was often sensitive to these things and they thought I had woken up from the noise. They reached out to coax me to, lay back down like it's gonna be okay. But I turned and smiled. Not the kind of smile their cheerful 6-year-old would have given, but one that was lopsided.
Like Sophie's smile.
Oh my god. Sophie smells like this. Like, you'll do the most to entertain her and she'll go, devil child. I'm just kidding, I love her so much, okay? Almost as if the ends of my mouth were spread too far out. It was like a pleased smile. One that was proud of whatever had happened to them. Like I had done whatever had happened to them. They were taken aback but still attempted to check up on me, and I stilled for a moment staring at them, and then I laughed. Okay, I'm getting creeped out. But it wasn't me, it was something else. It was like a cackle, a downright mocking roar of laughter, like it was entertained by their fear. And at that moment, the entire room was in chaos again. Lights turned on, the toilet flushed, and the television switched on once more, and then I passed out. And my dad grabbed me and my sister and ran out of the room with my mom. They ended up asking for a new room from the hotel staff in the middle of the night, and we switched to a different room. From this experience, I learned 3 things. Firstly, always knock on the door before entering a hotel room and make peace with whatever might be in the space before you move in. It could be hotels, new houses, or sleepover locations. We just want to make sure that we are welcomed. Secondly, I have understood the true definition of I scare myself because damn. And thirdly, my parents must really love me because if I saw myself possessed, I'm gonna be up for adoption. Okay, but here I am, 10 years later, still loved by them. So really, I must just be super lovable, honestly.
Are we really trying to believe that the story is something that happens? Because the fact that the writer did not see this happen, and obviously she didn't remember being possessed, question mark, why wouldn't you just assume that they're just creating some sort of story to spook you after the fact? For some reason, to be like, oh yeah, like, they could have just easily come up with a scenario. Hey, you remember when we were in that hotel and there's a bunch of bugs, so we switched rooms? Let's pretend to tell our daughter that actually what happened was some crazy ghost story. Question mark. Just to have a little fun, right? I'm not under the impression that this isn't just that, right? This is probably just that. They were just goofing.
And that's about it. Thank you so much, Stephanie, Mr. Mango Buttocks. Gotta assume that's the full name, okay? And Dan for bringing so much joy.
What did she call
Mr.
me?
Mango Buttocks.
Yo, you should change your name to that.
You should change your name to Mr. Mango Buttocks.
Buttocks.
Why are you guys so into this?
I love
I
it.
don't know, it sounds fun.
It's so
Does not-
good. Mr. Mango Chocolate Highway.
Huh?
Chocolate Highway?
What's that?
Wow, thank you for bringing so much joy into my life. Your BAMs and podcasts are just my favorite thing. I feel like I'm learning. Well, after that possessed story, you better be learning how not to be a victim and how not to be a perpetrator, okay? Good. Okay? And being able to contemplate so much about different things while still laughing and enjoying myself with your family dynamics. I usually can't even get through one 10-minute video on YouTube, but when I watch your videos, it's usually 5 hours straight, which is honestly why my screen time probably fucking hates you. But don't worry, I love you, and it makes up for it. My mom and
How old are you? I think the average attention span is dwindling, question mark, right? Especially with the brain rot that I was talking about earlier. You gotta have to jingle the keys, right? You have to keep jingling the keys. So I don't know how anyone even watches these videos with me not really saying anything too profound, question mark. I'm not jingling the keys, right? There's no key jingling here. I'm not screaming, I'm not yelling, which again would continue to keep you awake and catch your attention and whatnot. But yeah, again, attention span has been falling off, so I think it is kind of hard for people to just sit and watch something for an extended period of time.
recognizes you from my screen, which is a total win if you ask me, and your podcasts are my go-to when I'm walking home alone and scared, because your voice makes me feel safe, which is
What?
honestly a little
I just noticed that my model died. Where did it go? Oh, it's doing this. Yeah, I don't know what happens when this happens, where, like, you see, like, it's just popping in and out there. Yep, it just zoomed across the screen. Like, hello? I'm, like, trying to get it to come back. Model, do you want to get on the screen, please? Oh, nope, I guess not. There it goes. I don't even know if this would even look like for y'all, because I'm looking at my, my program. Come on, can you get up there, please? I'm going to have to, like, reset. What? Up. Nope. Can you, up? Hello? I don't know why it does this sometimes. Come on, get on screen. Up. My head's there. Up. Is it slowly bending in? Like, I don't know why it's doing this. Like, this program doesn't do stuff like that usually, so it's weird to just see the model just go flying across the screen. There we go. I think if something gets in my face in a specific kind of way, it just causes the model to just get skyrocketed off the screen. There, we're back on.
concerning, since who the hell feels safe from listening to a true crime podcast? But hey, maybe if creepy men see me laughing at such content because of your amazing ability to make me smile, it'll scare them away. I love you so much, keep doing you. Or maybe you should just give them your 6-year-old smile. I really need to know, does that work? You know what I was thinking about in the Uber the other day? The Uber was freaking me out, okay? I was literally thinking this, and this is so bad, but the Uber was kind of freaking me out. Listen, we've had such good experiences with Ubers in New York, but this one was kind of a little bit weird. And I was just thinking to myself, I am so thankful that I could poop right now, because worst case scenario, I'm a poop right now. Like, if he tries to do anything, I'm a poop right now. And I was like, that's actually really good that I'm on the verge of pooping right now.
Pretty good defense.
Okay, that time that I was terrorized by monkeys. I'd like to preface this story by disclaiming that no animals were harmed in this story.
Monkeys are kind of bad. They're kind of dangerous. Depending on what kind of monkey it is, right? Like a chimpanzee or something, they will rip you apart. Not to quote the video where the monkey is literally, killing a woman in the background. Because there's like a story, like a famous, I don't know if this would you use the word famous or infamous story of a woman who owned a chimpanzee, and then I think she left it with her friend, though the chimpanzee had some sort of like attachment to an Elmo doll, I think, and the friend had taken the Elmo doll from the chimpanzee for some reason, maybe to go put it away or something. The chimpanzee just raged out and started attacking her and killing her, and I think when the owner actually got there, she's like, oh my god, she's killing her, she's eating her face or something like that is what she was saying. I think the woman lived, but obviously she was like permanently disfigured. I don't even know if she can even see after that what happened. Yeah, permanently disfigured, and I think eventually the woman who owned the chimpanzee actually died. And I don't know if the woman who was actually attacked got any justice for what happened. I'm not sure. I'm assuming the chimpanzee was put down, but I think the woman who owned it died from like a disease or something before she could compensate her friend. I don't know. I just know there's a story of a chimpanzee that like mauled a woman, or like was like eating her. Like you got to be careful with monkeys. I'm not a monkey guy. I don't like monkeys. You know, citation needed because there are some exceptions. You know, like Zabumafu. If anybody knows who Zabumafu is, you know, rest his soul because he is dead now, I think. Zabumafu, that one monkey who's also a lemur in Animal Crossing. They added him to Animal Crossing New Horizons in like the DLC, I think. He's cute. You know, those are acceptable here and there, but I'm just not a monkey guy. I don't like monkeys. Even though I was called a monkey by one of my exes. I guess that technically wouldn't really sway you either way in either direction for liking monkeys or hating monkeys, right? But I guess it depends on the context of how it's being used, but we're not going to get into that. But yeah, just not a monkey guy, so I would be careful around monkeys.
At least not to on my part or to my knowledge. So a few years back,
Wait, what?
disclaiming that no animals were harmed in the story, at least not to on my part or to my knowledge. So a few years back, my neighborhood was terrorized by what I presume was a family of monkeys. Now, my area is not the least rural. We were suburban and lived about 10 minutes away from a mall. However, we do live in a tropical country, so wild animals were, though not common, an expected sight. At the beginning of their reign of terror, I honestly did not care about the critters, as I was well into my teens and preparing for an important exam, but the neighborhood had been giving out these notices about the monkeys going around stealing side mirrors, and a reminder to cover your vehicle's side mirrors if it can't be folded in.
What?
They steal the mirrors? These monkeys are a little vain, don't you think? Okay, can I tell you something about monkeys?
What?
Was it a Reddit thread about how there was this guy who had started working at the zoo, and all of the monkey keepers were telling him, okay, like you gotta put the bowl in through the cage doors and just like slip it in and that's it, right? And they come to eat. So the first day at the job, they're slipping in the bowls, right? And in one of them, the monkey wasn't waiting. So he's like, okay, that's weird. Should I go in and like give the food to the monkey, find the monkey, because I want the monkey to eat and know it's food time, right? How do they not know it's food time? And he was about to open the cage door and walk in, and the other trainers, the other zookeepers, are screaming at him like, what are you doing? Don't ever do that, right? And from the corner of his eye, hiding behind the tree, he sees the monkey staring at him. And he said the monkey almost looked disappointed that he didn't come in.
It's scary, man. Monkey scares me, man.
Monkeys scare me.
Again, yeah, don't mess around with monkeys. They will eliminate you, for sure.
Some people's dogs scare me. I have a friend who has a dog. Her dog scares me. I've never met her dog, but every time she sends me a picture of her dog, and she says sometimes it's weird. Sometimes she looks at her dog and she feels like he's about to start talking to her. Like, oh my god, I gotta show you a picture. Okay, I don't want to.
That's so cute.
Yeah, the dog is cute, but the dog is thinking some shit.
Wait
The dog is thinking some shit. The eyes are closed, but the dog is thinking.
No.
The dog is plotting. The dog is thinking. The dog is plotting murder. Yeah, and then I showed her pictures of my dogs. Well, she's met my dogs, and she says, not a thought in there. Like, nothing. So sometime after the announcement, we were hit by the thieving monkeys. My mother's car was missing one of its side mirrors. We were truly puzzled by how the monkeys got the side mirror out, as my mom owned a Range Rover that folds the side mirrors automatically when the engine is off. I guess they just wrestled it with brute strength. I mean, those little things are pretty freaking strong, I tell you. You might be thinking, what's so scary about a few monkeys running side mirror heists? Of course, that's not all they stole. They'd stolen many things. They'd stolen chickens, free range, raised by a neighbor. Stolen children's toys that were left behind in the yard. Stolen fruits from people's trees. Stolen clothes, stolen shoes, stolen toothpaste. I'll get into that in a little bit. I won't tell you about the time that one of the monkeys stole my favorite shoe, but long story short, my dad found my shoe discarded on the side of the road, seemingly bitten into shreds. I shall carry this grievance to my grave. Damn you, you fucking monkeys. I digress. So, what I actually wanted to tell you is about my encounter with that monkey. So, at that time, my house had just finished renovating, and one of the newer additions to the house included a bright and shiny new water tank that was placed directly above my newly extended room. Now, if you recall, the monkeys like shiny reflective things, judging by their pattern of stealing side mirrors.
Yeah, why do they like mirrors so much? Question mark. Because that's I'm not understanding the logic there, other than just shiny thing being a common trope with theft. You know, like dragons, like in mythology, they like shiny things. So there's just like a shiny thing, animal like shiny thing scenario. I just realized that I have a picture of, like, I know I have a picture of the monkey from Animal Crossing. In case no one knew what the heck I was talking about earlier, what I said, you know, Zabumafu, and then the other lemur monkey from Animal Crossing and New Horizons. I actually have a picture, so I'm gonna go get that picture off my computer and show you what I'm talking about. Here we go. Here's the guy. I don't know what this guy's name is, but this is what I was talking about. With the monkey from Animal Crossing and New Horizons that they added in the DLC, I think. Yeah, so he's cute, right? So he's fine. If we're talking like real monkeys, then or even like Balloons Team Deathmatch or Tower Defense. Why did I say Team Deathmatch? Balloons Tower Defense. I don't know if I care about the monkeys now. I have played it a bit, but the entire game revolves around monkeys popping balloons, but I don't know. Do I care about anybody? Some of them, I guess some of the monkeys in there are okay because they're personalized, right? But just, for example, like real monkeys, just no. Just don't mess with monkeys. They're no good. This is a monkey hater channel, question mark.
So while I didn't see them, I could hear the monkeys having a party on the roof, scratching and slamming the water tank. You can imagine just how eerie the sounds were, regardless of the time. They would keep me up at night, making me wonder if it was really the monkeys partying it up or some sort of ghost demon trying to claw its way into my room. Again, I digress. So anyway, another new addition to my room was its own personal ensuite bathroom. Before the renovations, I had to share with my brother, which sucked because that meant I always had to take earlier showers so we don't fight over it in the morning after school. This bathroom was at the very end of my room in the newly extended area. One side was facing the backyard and it had a small window on the upper side of the wall for ventilation and natural lighting, and it was constantly kept open for those very few reasons. Big mistake. Remember when I said that monkeys like to hang out at our water tank? Well, one of them decided one day to straight up jump into my bathroom through that tiny little ventilation window. The first time it happened, I was freaking scared and didn't dare do anything, so I just sort of waited out the noise. It sounded like the monkey was just running and jumping around like a kid on a trampoline. When the noise died down, I opened the bathroom door slightly and peeked into my bathroom with trepidation, worried that the critter wrecked my bathroom. Thankfully, there were no monkeys in sight, and nothing was broken, but my bathroom had a bunch of dirty small animal footprints along the walls, floor, mirror, and sink. And there was
You assume that he's not in there.
a suspicious small bite mark on the toothpaste tube that had been displaced from the cup that I'd used as a container for my toothbrush and toothpaste. I got to cleaning and tried to zen myself in hopes that they don't decide to trespass into my bathroom again. But luck was not on my side, as they reappeared the next day. This time, I felt braver, so when I heard the noise started, I began banging on my door as though we were in competition to see who could make the most noise pollution. When the monkey didn't seem to relent, I burst the door open, accompanied by my trusted Mr. Broomstick that I'd stolen from the kitchen, along with a nifty little biological reaction called adrenaline rush. I'm sorry, are you an author? I'm sorry, you gotta write a book. This monkey reacted quickly when it saw me, big and strong.
Yeah, because unnecessary use of trepidation earlier is like, okay, you gotta be writing so fancy.
In all my 5'1" glory and screeched as it hopped from the sink to the wall and launched itself out the window with my fucking toothpaste. What the heck was it doing with my toothpaste? I had just opened a fresh new tube a couple of days before. I was more flabbergasted than angry or scared at that moment, to be honest. I told my parents about the encounter soon after, and my brother helped me close a tiny window, and it's still closed to this day, even though there's no more monkeys here. I have no idea what happened to the monkeys. Some neighbors said they moved away after getting bored of the area. Some said they were taken away by animal control. I honestly don't know. What I do know is that nothing else has been stolen since that day, and the creepy noises at night eventually stopped, and my newer tube of toothpaste lived to see its final squeeze.
Wow, she's good at writing.
Bruh, you got me emotional about a toothpaste right now. To conclude, this story of mine is probably not the scariest animal encounter out there, but it had been a pretty darn anxiety-inducing to me. I was like,
I mean, it could have been if they were something more dangerous. They seem like these are probably like small monkeys, right? But if they're anything bigger or more dangerous, then it could have been a problem.
lucky the monkey chose to flight rather than fight, as monkeys are known to be rather aggressive when in danger. I've heard stories of people losing ears or noses or chunks of flesh due to monkey attacks. Faces. And I'm thankful that the monkey I'd met was just as non-confrontational as I am.
Assuming her saying faces is in reference to the woman who literally got her face eaten off.
So good. So good!
Scary, okay? Like,
Monkeys are so scary.
like we had some rats in the wall. Once.
Oh!
That keep it.
What?
Yeah, there were rats in the attic in one of the apartment we were living at.
In LA.
It's so creepy because at night all you hear is just like scratching
It
in
doesn't
the
sound
wall.
like animals. It sounds like someone scratching. Like,
in the wall.
yeah. And then in LA, we had a cricket that found its way into our garage somehow.
I heard about this.
Yeah, and it was so loud, I would have to open the garage door and go, stop! And I would,
Silence!
oh yeah, silence!
It's a great solution.
And then we would close it, and like 5 seconds later, I'd be, that cricket lived forever. I don't know what that cricket was eating in our garage. Probably my Christmas tree or something, but that cricket lived forever. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Okay, these were some crazy horror stories, but I will see you guys tomorrow for the next spooky season video. Stay safe. Make sure to check.
Yep, that is going to be it for that video with blurry face Stephanie there. Like this is the ring or something. She's watched the videotape. She only got 7 days to live. But yeah, that was that. A lot of crazy stuff happened there. Of course, that weird dog tangent in the middle of that video again. Sorry about that again. It's just something I knew about, so I figured I might as well talk about it. Again, monkeys are rough. Don't mess with monkeys. The grandpa story, again, that's just like really messed up. Again, like I feel like some people will not be on the boat of like the dad shouldn't, like the dad made the right choice of not killing him, but again, like I said, I think the downside of that is, you know, him going to jail for X amount of time and not having your father with you. So like if you put yourself in his shoes, because not necessarily her shoes, like whose shoes do you have to be in, like for what I'm about to say to make sense? put yourself in his shoes, you would think, okay, I'm gonna kill this guy for what he did, but then you have to like rationalize it. Okay, wait, if I kill him, this is gonna tear the family apart because now I'm gonna go to jail, and now my wife has to take care of the kids all by herself, and then they're gonna have their dad. I'm gonna be stuck in jail for who knows how long. So you know the best thing to do is to, you know, honestly they should have got him sent to jail, but the grandpa, but best thing to do is, or this the best thing to not do is kill him. Like, do not kill him. Question mark. I don't know how he's still alive anyways. Like I was saying, like what force is keeping him alive to be so old, despite all the bad things he's done? Question mark. But of course, you know, life isn't fair, yada yada yada. So who knows? But that was the last video, like I said, I think in the Your Scariest Experiences playlist. So I don't know if she ever did any more, but if she did, she never added them to the playlist. But we're just going to move on to Juicy's Confessions tomorrow. Maybe I'll squeeze in a Chinaverse video in there somewhere just to get some of that in, because I know these videos, even though they are Stephanie, it seems like people aren't too interested in these either. I know they just want the Chinaverse. People are obsessed with the Chinaverse. So we'll probably maybe squeeze one of those in there at some point. But yeah, I think that's going to be it. I don't think I have anything else to say other than what we already said. You know, the whole weird dog woman fiasco that happened a few years ago, and then I'll talk about monkeys. You know, Zabumafu is cool. The monkey from Animal Crossing is cool. I don't know if there's any other ones I like. I mean, both of those aren't real, / technically Zabumafu is real and fake at the same time, because there was a real lemur monkey in that show, but then there also was a puppet as well, right? So it's real and fake at the same time, but of course, like the Animal Crossing video game, that's not real. Anything else I could think of? I don't know. I never liked King Kong. Again, that's something that's not real, but I never really liked him. You know, per se. Maybe that just because he's a monkey, and maybe that for whatever reason that hatred runs deep. Like I was born with hatred for monkeys for some reason. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of any of the monkeys that I like other than those two. And maybe like the monkeys in Balloons Tower Defense 6? Question mark. Yeah. I don't know. Anyways, we can end the video now. I'll stop rambling now. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Remember to buy my stickers, anything about becoming a member, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, so we can watch them and subscribers, and if we have thrown out as well. And shout out to the members, EmmyStarr, RaleyDrew, and alexgkiller 880. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Tune to the next episode. Like, subscribe, comment. Another do. See ya.